Greetings everyone and welcome to the BlastCast. My name is Jarvis. With me always is my Empyrean Galactic Survivor expert, Lightning Dragon. Alright, this week on Around the Verse, they gave us some updates. I'm just going to go over the highlights, things that I found interesting because hey, it's my show. Alright, the first update is now that ships are actually being flown by the NPCs and not just the ships with a ragdoll in there. So hopefully what this difference will bring in is that we'll see the ships actually more subject to G-forces. Because anyone who's been out there flying knows if you follow the NPCs into the same maneuvers that they do, often you'll pass out and it doesn't seem to bother them at all. And that's largely because, well, it's just a doll sitting in a chair.
Sorry, I just had a random thought. You're fighting strongmen, the ultimate strongman.
It's four warriors. Alright, and they also showed off a little program that they have for actually creating modular weapons, quickly putting parts together and making weapons. You know, when I saw this, the first thing that I thought of was, wouldn't it be nice that down the road, since we're going to have the ability to, you know, to mine, to refine, to sell, to manufacture on some level, that if players with pre-existing parts can put together and create their own weapons with an in-game version of this system. You know, you take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, within limits, of course. Otherwise, you'd end up with like some sort of mega super anime gun that you just kind of pull out and just destroy everything in front of you.
I see nothing wrong with that argument.
What do you want? The mega super anime gun?
I want mega super anime guns on the Titan suits, mechs. You know.
Oh, sure.
Because then I can name my suit Gundam, and then when it enters this system, they go, "Oh no, it's a Gundam! Run!" Sorry.
All right, and on the front of Squadron 42, they kind of came up with a really cool compromise. A lot of times, you know, when you have story elements, they'll put you into a cutscene, and you're kind of forced to just watch what's happening. But they've given an option here that if you're in the area, say it's a cutscene that, oh, like they showed the one where the guys were being brought in the prisoner transport, and when that happened, the pilot, the player, was up in the locker room area getting ready for the mission. The camera swoops down to the hangar, and you have to watch that. Now, with the system they're creating, you could, technically speaking, from what I understand, break out of that forced camera and then go back and resume seeing that scene from where your character is at that character's perspective, so you get control back. It still allows a cinematic experience, but doesn't force the player into those cinematic experiences if they don't want to.
And I'm sure we've all hit the space bar or escape button trying to skip out of cutscenes before, where we've already played the game, or you just don't really care and we just want to get back into the action.
Alright, and the environmental art team has spent a good chunk of time going over the planet tech to give us more diversity in colors, materials, so we can start seeing more Earth-like planets, which I'm really looking forward to, because don't get me wrong, I love the moons, I love what they've done with them, but I would really love to be in an environment where I don't have to wear a spacesuit and I could just run up to a hilltop and Julia Andrews spin the the hills are alive with the sound of music and just enjoy the nice environments.
Also, you know, Earth has lots of water. You know what goes in water?
Fish?
Boats.
Oh, okay. I'm right too.
Yeah, I mean, technically, I suppose that'd be fish. I mean, they've already talked about how you can get alien fish for your stupid thing. Anybody remember that, by the way?
Yeah. Well, actually, they mentioned it briefly. I didn't really put it here, but they don't know for certain, but it's potentially still on the table that they may want to have watercraft. It just depends on what direction they go. Now, I would love to see that. Would I like to see, you know, submarines and things and underwater bases?
I would rather see a dual-purpose ship, kind of like the Merchantman, where like, oh, also, by the way, it can land on water. Because I feel, well, I'm 100% for, you know, Space Battleship Yamato. I feel doing something where that is more like pure naval focus would just be a big waste of their time, because this is at its core supposed to be a space game.
Yeah, yeah. No, I can see that. I definitely understand. And
now, if they decide to add Space Battleship Yamato, I'm 100% for that, because I like me some World War II ships.
Yeah, something with that kind of aesthetic.
Mm-hmm.
All right, on Reverse the Verse, there was only a couple things that came up that I found kind of interesting. The first one they kind of talked about was planetary level of details. Now, I don't know how many of you out there have played Arma or games with that kind of large environment. And what happens a lot of times in those games is that, say
cough,
like
cough,
you're...
War Thunder, cough, cough.
Oh yeah, that one was the most egregious. We'll use that as an example instead. In War Thunder, when they had the tank battles on the ground, what they had initially is that if you shut down your graphics, you reduce the graphic level, you would end up shutting...
Ultra low graphic settings.
Exactly. The foliage would become pointless. So basically, there was no moving around the trees without being noticed, and you were just exposed everywhere you went, and people were using it to get ahead. And the same kind of thing, like if someone's laying down in the grass, way off in the distance, as a sniper or something, or even just trying to hide, and the LODs draw out the grass, and what it looks like is you're just laying there on a flat surface out in the open. So these games have to take into account visibility. Like if you can't be seen if the grass was there, then it shouldn't be drawing in your character. So these are important considerations. Otherwise, a lot of mechanics.
It'd be easy just to tie LOD both character-wise to grass-wise. So, for example, if you're like, oh well, I'll just lower my LOD to be whatever the minimum is. Let's say it's 100 meters, right? That means it won't even draw characters in at 100 meters because there's potentially players that can be hiding in there. So you'd really want to think about it's like, oh, do I want to change my LOD sliders, or just want to change the graphic sliders so things are a little bit more pixely in the background? I think that'd be a pretty easy compromise compared to just making it so you can't see anything.
Yeah, and it's very important with a game like this, just because of the nature of if you can see it, you can get to it. So we need to give that kind of assurance that you're not going to be screwed over because someone just changed their graphics settings in a certain way. All right, and there was a question in there about the lighting on human flashlights and ship lights that's kind of weak. And
you mean the fact that we can't see anything at night?
Basically. Now, I don't mind the lighting in Star Citizen. I think it's great. I think having lived out in the country, when it's dark, it's dark. So the thing is that while that lighting is, in a large respect, kind of realistic, we also are dealing with technology that can get around that. So obviously, it's not incorporated in the game yet. And maybe that's why they're not dealing with it. Maybe that's why they haven't. They're not lightening up the game just at a default level, because they're going to get that night vision tech in your helmet, into your ships, maybe the glass in your ship. I don't know, but hopefully down the road that gets taken care of, because they do have beautiful lighting. I will give Star Citizen, 10 out of 10 in their lighting department. Every single time they've done an amazing job. In fact, what's coming out looks even better, which is amazing.
Yeah, I don't think we have the newest version. The stuff they were showing in the was it the Idris or the
the stuff they showed this week in Around the Verse was even better. It was just breathtaking.
But that goes to show that I haven't kept up on it as much as I used to.
You've had a busy week, so it is what it is. I don't want them to rework the entire aesthetic of the game if there's another way to work around it. I mean, maybe you could just play with your gamma settings. That seems to be that
reminds me of 7 Days to Die. When it gets nighttime in that game, it's just pitch black, and it's just like, oh well, it's nighttime. Time to raise the gamma up to 200%. And here comes the sun, but lower the gamma back to 100%. I really, really would rather them not do that. Honestly, I'd rather have them just have a night vision toggle button like Arma would.
Yeah. Well, absolutely. That's my preferred solution as well.
Yeah, it'd be the easiest, honestly.
Alright, of course, and patch 3.0.1 came out, and it's a bit of a performance hit or miss. I see people saying that it's worse, some people saying it's better. For me, it's been better on average, and but they have been going absolutely ape crap with this pirate spawns, and every time you jump, well, not every time, but I would say 90% of the time from what I experienced today, it was press B, the ship starts shaking, you go a little bit, you drop out, there'd be some pirates there, you press B again, the ship starts shaking again, like, what is this crap? And pirate swarms around Port Olisar, whole groups of pirates. Like you'll go and you'll look and it'll be like 15, 20 red dots. You're like, what the hell? So it's a pirate invasion, ladies and gentlemen. Peg legs aplenty, so be careful out there.
We don't have the railgun for anti-ship duty yet, do we?
No, not yet.
I think we need that. I mean, if the pirates are being this aggressive, it's time for the UEE to start handing out some heavier firepower to the brave explorers of the Crusader system.
Well, I tell you what. I mean, it's what's causing the biggest performance hit, because every server I've logged in today has been like, I mean, I've gotten up to like 65 frames a second. I'll start off on, and I'll be fine all the way till I get down to my ship. I'm still running in the high 50s, low 60s. I get in my ship, I jump, ship shakes, the server drops down to 4. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's just like, what happened? So also press B to kill the server. It's just one of those things. They really need to tweak that setting. I know that's server side.
That's a 1 became a 0.
Of course, the greatest thing about the 3.01 patch is addressed in calling all devs was that they have fixed the golf ball bug. This was kind of interesting to me when they talked about this, Lightning. You were in our Let's Plays. You were complaining that you would try to equip something and it wouldn't take.
Right, it did that a lot.
Right, actually, that's kind of a protection that's put in from what I gathered on that. If something isn't going to sync up right because of latency or performance, it doesn't allow it. That's in a sense keeping you from becoming a golf ball.
What if I want to be a golf ball? I identify myself as an
little
attack
pop-up window
gun ball.
Son of a bitch, ball! Why didn't you just go home? That's your home. Are you too good for your home?
You equip something, goes boop. You keep trying to equip it, and eventually the thing goes up. Do you really want to be a golf ball? You click yes, and suddenly boop, you're just a golf ball. So I thought that was kind of interesting. That wasn't the main part of the question, but I saw that as a side part, and I thought, oh, okay, well, there you go.
Now you know.
Right, ship interior customization is something they'd like to do. Or initially, I guess, speaking, they want to have like dashboard decorations, bobbleheads, and things. But that's something they know they want to do, but there's currently no timetable for decoration. Now, I don't know if Star Citizen's ever going to allow us to have the same customization that for all the Star Wars Galaxy users out there that remember that you could build a pool table literally in the main room of your ship with random parts and shapes and whatnot, that you could do anything with your interior of your ship. I doubt it's going to hit that level.
I mean, first of all, it's probably a very, very low priority because there's so many more things that need to be fixed.
Oh yeah.
But I could see them releasing like furniture packs if I'll go like Sim style like this. So like if you have like one of the 300 series ships where it has this kind of interior here and that kind of interior here, I could see them releasing those as like, oh well, you can buy those like pool table or bed or
yeah. Well, even just I'd be happy just initially to be able to change the paint schemes on the inside.
That'd be nice too.
Just start with simple things. I mean, down the road if they want to do more complex things, hey, cool. Once they get the container system in, that's fine. Do what you want on the inside of your ship. But until they do that, since basically everything in the game is being transmitted to locations at all times, I really don't want to know that your coffee maker is moving between this planet and that planet. So we'll let them figure that out.
You don't want to know about coffee makers? Who are you? When have you done with the real jars?
That reminds me, I'm actually going to need to make some after this show.
I actually I haven't tested out the new creamer that I got. I totally forgot about
it. How do you test out creamer?
Well, I haven't had any. I haven't made any coffee. When I woke up today, I was so sore from sleeping. I just woke up and I needed to stretch and move.
You see you in a white lab coat, like with a clipboard, and you're like, you got the creamer in one hand and test tubes in the other, and all sorts of weird crap's about to happen.
I haven't had any coffee since the creamer was bought, so I haven't had a chance to put it in the coffee where it belongs and then drink the coffee with the creamer in there.
Well, get on that.
I can't. We're recording a show right now.
All right, well, afterwards. All right, someone asked about API implementation. Now, I didn't know what API was, so I stopped the show. Now I'm going to go ahead and let you know in case you don't know, because I didn't know, so I assume some of you don't know. So I'm going to tell you so then you'll know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Pork chop sandwiches. G.I. Joe.
An API is a set of defined functions and methods for interfacing with the underlying operating system or another program or service running on the computer. It is usually used by establishing a reference to a library in your software or importing a function from a DLL. So basically, what they want to know is, are we going to allow basically outside programs to interface with Star Citizen? In a sense, this is kind of it's just kind of a twist on the question that was asked last week. But obviously they're going to be doing this because they want to incorporate Spectrum to allow us to do voice chat.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about this a long time ago, where you could have like your phone or a tablet interfacing with your computer to have like your MFDs. So like, for example, like where your keyboard is, you know, you have like a tablet that sits there, and that's where your MFDs are. The touchpad you can move, and then the left and right you have your joysticks and throttle, or joystick and joystick, or whatever. But you can have that at the touch of a button, so you don't have to go and grab your mouse and stare at the screen. I mean, I don't own a tablet, but that'd be a really tempting thing for me if I was playing a ship that needed that kind of, like, you know, micromanagement stuff. And you can get tablets pretty cheap now, I think.
Oh yeah, I have a tablet and a smartphone, so the combination of those together would be just amazing.
I have an ancient iPhone. I don't think it would work.
I don't know. Maybe it depends on how they make it. So anyway, now you know the answer to that question again in a slightly different way, and you know what an API is.
This is the sad part of the news hour.
All of you hang your heads, because basically we have been left in the lurch. The question was just Redeemer. It's not a priority for 2018. So I do apologize for those of you who, like me, have owned one of these beauties. But they're trying to decide right now on a couple things. They're going to go route either as a dropship or a pure gunship. Now, I agree with them. They're looking at possibly it just being a gunship and not a dropship, because we've got enough ships with lots of seats to drop people. The Cutlass does that well. The Starfarer does it well. I mean, there's lots of seats in there. I'm all for pure gunship. Now, they said, obviously, there's problems with the metrics on all the hallways and things like that. I see this ship getting bigger. I don't see it getting smaller. I see it getting bigger.
I definitely agree with the larger thing. I think primarily it's just going to be like an overall size increase, but I think it's going to have to be longer, because the biggest problem, which I'm pretty
ladder.
sure...
I mean, the
yes.
stairs. The stairs.
Yeah,
and
the stairs. The stairs are not big enough, and either they need to make them at a whatever the word would be, a less steep angle, so you can walk up them easier, or you have to like just completely replace them with ladders. And I'm sorry, as you know, someone who's played the game quite a bit recently, and you would agree with me, I'm sure, the ladders are nice, but you're like magnetized to the ladders. So if you get anywhere near the ladder, you're like, "Whoop! I'm climbing down the ladder now." And when you were just trying to look near it.
That's my pet peeve every time I play, is I'm stuck to the ladder Velcro situation. No, there's a third option. They could give us one of those. You ever seen those, like those lifts that go downstairs where, like, you know, like an old lady sits in it and slowly go, like, they could get us stand on a platform that goes down just that obnoxiously slow, but like.
It'd take less time to climb the ladder, even if you got you know, magnetized to it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. You have all sorts of fun with that. But the biggest problem they talked about, well, at least most prevalent from what I understood, that was mechanical, was the turret in the bottom. How the turret in the bottom has a tunnel, basically, where it would take the chair, a tunnel would extend, the chair would push into the turret, and it would close. Well, looking at the way they've done the Hammerhead, to me, this is a simple solution. All you have to do is make the turret slide back, lock into place in the body, the door opens up, the guy gets in, okay? The door closes, the turret slides back into place, boom, problem solved. You don't have to deal with that tunnel situation anymore, and you still get the same good positioning, and it's a tech
you just have a turret on rails, basically, and
essentially
the rails that move it backwards to get close, rails move it forward.
Yeah,
it's just sitting on the twist gimbal mount or whatever you want to call it. It's just that's attached to a rail system.
Well, they've already shown they can do it. They've already done a turret like on the Javelin that's on a rail that shows, and so it's just utilizing that technology.
The the ground ship. What's that called again? I want to call it the Mako.
Oh, the Ursa rover.
Yeah,
the
Ursa
turrets on
rover.
that. Yeah, exactly.
When it works, it's technically on a rail system as well. So, I mean, they already have these systems implemented.
Yeah, to me that seems to be the simplest and just most straightforward solution to a very, very basic problem. If you're listening from CIG, you're welcome. Now give me my ship.
Preferably, working.
Yeah, preferably working. Unlike my car 2-all, which spent all of yesterday drifting lazily to the left until I had to force eject out of it because it just kept circling. And then it hit the station, it came back at me like, Christine.
Okay. Show me.
I was like, what the hell? It's coming back.
It has become sentient.
Yeah, it did. It came right back at me. I watched it fly off the distance, and it just stopped, and it started coming right back at me. I was like, dun 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 dun. And ever since then, I haven't been able to resummon it. I can't even file an insurance claim. It's just gone. So I'm just like, okay.
It's become Skynet.
I guess. All I had to do is circle to the left the entire base, the entire time.
That's why the pirates are all over the place.
Yeah. It's now to become their leader. All right, there's a question about if we're bringing back, well, if CIG's bringing back Tessa Bannister. Yeah, absolutely. They want to make sure that when they bring her back, that it's done with the proper mechanics, the proper scanning and things like that. I really like the voice actress.
This is the lady that you warped to the station, and she was like, "Hi, hello, I see you."
Yeah,
but you can't see me. That was so like natural and charming. I mean, obviously, when you hear it a couple times in a row,
right,
it's kind of like, yeah, whatever. But it felt very natural. It didn't feel like, here is a script, read these lines. That's
what I'm saying. I as a voice actress, she did an amazing job, and I would like to see her given a more lead role in some. If you have like the primary mission givers out there that you actually interact with, that actually speak with you, have long running stories, I would like that voice actress to be one of them.
Kind of like missions in like Eve or something, where it's the same.
Well, like Miles Eckhart.
To.
Exactly. Yeah, that kind of thing. You build up reputation or whatever, and you start getting contacts. I don't know. I like to see this person given a little bit more work because they do such a good job.
Agreed.
All right, and on this week's Explore the Verse, we take my brother's Caterpillar out and try to get him some Alpha UEC post 3.0.1 because, let's face it, most people were broke after that. And, well, we're going to enjoy it.
I was too.
Yeah. Well, not anymore, though. So we'll show you the video of that with all the weird bugs and craziness that went down. And I think you'll get a kick out of it. It did not go as smoothly as we would have liked for 4,000 credits.
It was great for me, but,
Oh, yeah. All right, on the playlist this week, we're moving back into Evocron or Evochan or Legacy. This time now, we're going into the actual gameplay. I'm going to be actually playing the game, showing off different things, talking about whatever I feel like, because that's what the playlist is. It's my show. Deal with it. But it won't be as long as a video. But those of you who did watch the mechanics video, I do appreciate it. I mostly just kind of want to introduce some alternative ways of things being done in this genre because it's really important to me that you have those perspectives. I think it'll only help Star Citizen be more refined as people can compare A and B and give really good feedback. Alright guys, well that's about everything for this week. So I will go ahead and let you go. Lightning Dragon will not. He'll be stalking you in your closet.
I don't think so.
Alright guys, we will catch you in the next one. He's in your closet.
Where's the Snatching Your Children Up, hide your wife, hide... I don't remember the name of the song though.
What? Hide your kids, hide your wife?
It's the songify this, guys.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know what it was. Anyway, random tangent is what this episode is.
Yes.
Bye.